Shalom, family. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, our Father, and Yahushua. He is the MashaYah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming king. Hear, O Yesharo, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one, brothers and sisters, but Yahuwah, and Yahushua is his voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again to ask another question. Are there Jews opposed to Zionism? Here's the answer. Look at their signs. Judaism rejects Zionism and the state of Israel. Look what they have. A circle with the line going in between it across the Jewish flag. Are they being anti-Semitic? What if we were to come out and protest like this against Zionism? Wouldn't we be called anti-Semitic? Okay, so here we have a sect of Orthodox Judaism that rejects the behavior of the Israelis that are over in the Promised Land today. They reject the fact that they are there. I wonder why. Let's check it out. Zionism, a movement for, originally, the reestablishment and now the development and protection of a Jewish nation in what is now Israel. It was established as a political organization in 1897 under Theodor Herzl and was later led by Chaim Weizmann. 1897. All the way back then. They were trying to set up this Jewish nation in Palestine. Did you guys know that? Because I didn't. I thought it all went down after Hitler killed all the Jews. But they had these plans way before that even happened. Jewish opposition to Zionism. Gregory Baum. According to a press release, PR Web of 30 November 2007, the Central Rabbinical Congress of the USA and Canada made a public statement correcting the views of certain Jewish organizations that returning parts of the Holy Land, and particularly Jerusalem, for the sake of peace, is prohibited by Torah. According to the statement made by the Congress, territorial concessions for the sake of saving lives and preventing human suffering are not only sanctioned by the Torah, but required. most people will not have heard of the Central Rabbinical Congress. Its website on the internet explains that the Congress has consistently opposed Zionism and the actions of the Zionists, issuing statements, advertisements, and organizing protests. What do you think they're against? What lives are they talking about saving? The Palestinians. Since the Jewish opposition to Zionism is a topic not well known, you will only find it if you seek it out. One must be grateful to Yaakov Ravskin's study, A Threat from Within. Note, the Jews, the Orthodox, they said that they have a threat from within their people. They call them the Zionists. That documents the teaching of the Orthodox rabbis who have, from the end of the 19th century up to the present day, rejected the Zionist claims for reasons that are properly theological. I wonder what theological doctrine are they coming from? The pious rabbis, known as Haredim, have produced a substantial literature that Rapkin has subjected to a careful analysis. The principal theological argument of the Haredim is that the Zionists have transformed the religious Messianism implicit in Judaism into a political nationalism and and replaced the religious definition of Jewish identity by one that is secular and political. Proof that they are secular and political. They have a democratic society, political. They are secular in nature. They allow homosexuality to flourish in the land. They have parades there. You know, LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ. Soon all of those letters are going to be taken. They're allowing this to happen in the Holy Land. Okay. It says that they have replaced the religious, not religious, the definition of Messianism in Torah with their secular and political government. How many times are you going to see this word replace? Do you know what the Orthodox are trying to tell you here? The only one who can bring you into the land, according to Torah, is the MashaYah. According to the Haredim, the exile of the Jews from the Promised Land has been imposed on them by God as a punishment for their infidelity to Torah. Okay. They're not talking about themselves. In all reality, they're talking about you. You are the children of Yeshua. They are converts to a religion called Judaism. Some of them even suggest that the Holocaust was a divine punishment for the stubborn refusal of so many Jews to observe the laws of the Torah. So their Holocaust is supposed to be likened unto our captivity. How many Jews died in the Holocaust? They said 6 million. How many of us died in the flood that the Gentiles put out after us? Over 100 million. According to the Haredim, the return of the Jews to the Holy Land is a Messianic promise. There's no promise in the book for the Jews to return to the Holy Land. The promise in the book is for the children of Yeshua to return to the Holy Land once they have returned to their master, Yahuwah. Remember, they're converts to Judaism. You cannot be a convert to a bloodline. And we are that bloodline. It will therefore take place as God's doing. No, it's going to take place with Yah's doing. He's going to send the MashaYah. He's going to come back to the land. He's going to cleanse it of our ancient enemy, Edom. Then he's going to move towards the north and cleanse the rest of the land of all of these Gentiles. Then he will come to the 4 corners of the earth, every place that we were scattered, those who were kidnapped from Africa and taken in ships, and those from the northern kingdom, the ones who were far. Yahudah was near, those who were taken captive in the first wave of the flood. He's coming back to gather all 12 tribes. How many tribes are over there now? 1. Have you seen the Messiah come and bring them there? The answer is no. And the Orthodox Jews, they're complaining about this. They're protesting about this. They said you're not supposed to be there. Did you know that the Jews that's over in the land, they did not want Rabkin to write this book? They said that he would be promoting anti-Semitic propaganda. Rabkin doesn't agree with that. He said there should always be a conversation amongst his people and everyone else on them proceeding to the Holy Land without the MashaYah. Okay? It will therefore take place as God's doing, not the result of a political movement. That's how they got there, the Balfour Agreement, or even less, of a military action. The conservative Orthodox congregations living in Yisrael, Israel today, as they call it, refuse to recognize the Israeli state. Oh, aren't they considered to be anti-Semitic? They would prefer to live as distinct communities in a Palestinian state. Even their own people will tell you the only way that you can return to the land is if the MashaYah brings you there, according to the book, not according to politics, not according to the Gentiles, according to the law, which they replace with their own laws. Anti-Semitism. It's a noun. Let me wake you up, okay? Oxford learners be biased. So you're going to be biased against who? Be prejudiced against people of color, especially British, English, black people, especially North American, English, African Americans, etc. So anti-Semitism, which means it's ongoing, constant, it's against us. Why is it that people don't believe that? It is a fact that they kidnapped us from Africa. That's regional. It is a fact they brought us around the world in ships. Who did that? The same Jews that we're talking about here. They owned most of the slave ships. Look on the bottom. Anti-Semitism against us is a noun. It's a word other than a pronoun. See, a pronoun describes a person, place, or thing. The noun is that person, is that place, is that thing, used to identify any of a class of people. People of color, black people, African Americans. All three designations they've given you here, haven't they? Colored people, black people, African Americans, etc., whatever else they come up with. Used to identify any of a class of people, places, or things. It's a common noun. Or to name a particular one of these. Proper noun. So it's using the proper noun. It's speaking about us. Anti-Semitic. It's an adjective. Oxford Learners Dictionaries. Also, anti-Semitic, that shows hate for Jewish people or involves the unfair treatment of Jews. Anti-Semitic propaganda. All right. If you speak about the Jews in any way, you could be telling the truth. For example, you cannot come into the land unless the MashaYah brings you there according to Torah. Is that anti-Semitic? It involves the unfair treatment of Jews. Hold it. Who's treating the Jews unfair? The Jews are over there in the land today. According to the Orthodox, they're not supposed to be there because the MashaYah did not bring them there. Who are they treating unfairly? The Palestinians. Remember something? They replaced the laws of Yah with their own korbanot. And they said they replaced it now because they can't make sacrifices or follow any of the laws in Torah, that they made their own statutes. Yeah. And they replaced the statutes of Yah with what? Kindness, goodwill towards men. But yet they're the ones who are unfairly treating the Palestinians with death. They're killing them. Nobody's doing anything about it. If you even speak about it, you're being anti-Semitic. You can speak about anyone. I can speak about my mother, my father, the white man, the blue man, the green man, the yellow man. I can talk about anyone. The only people on the planet that you cannot speak about are the Jews. What is it that they're hiding? Well, the Orthodox already told you. They're not supposed to be in the land until the MashaYah comes, gathers his people, and brings them into the land. They got there with political reasons. Well, Lord Balfour and the Gentiles got together and gave them the land. That's why they won't say anything about the Jews. They're responsible for bringing those people over there. Look on the bottom. This is an adjective. It's an add-on. It's not a noun. See, adjective. A word or phrase naming an attribute added to or grammatically related to a noun to modify it or describe it. Adjective. They are not the definite article like colored, black people, African Americans. They are an add-on, an adjective. Wow. These are the last days. Knowledge is greatly increased. The only reason that someone will remain ignorant is because he wants to be that way. The Jews got all of these people saying when you speak about them that you're being anti-Shemitic against them. Guess who's always forgotten? The true people of the book. The ones that were brought over here in ships And the same slave ship manifest that the Jews wrote, when they put our names there, shows that we have these Hebrew names, that we were named after our mighty one, Yah. And we've been brought here to the Americas and around the world. We were enslaved, the book says, and treated evil, the book says, for 400 years. No one else can testify to that but us. The Jews cannot. They made another claim that they were in Egypt for 400 years. Look on the walls. You won't see their skin color there. You're only going to see these so-called colored people, these so-called black people, these so-called African Americans on the walls. You won't see them. What if I were to tell you that no one, not us, the children of Yisrael, who we are actually seed that comes from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? We were not in Egypt for 400 years. According to Torah, when you add up the time, they were only in Egypt, enslaved, and treated evil, the most, maybe 140, the least, 80 years. So if we were not even in Egypt for 400 years, how did the Jews get there for 400 years? I made a video about it, 400 or 430. Check it out. Through Torah, tells you exactly how long it was before the children of Yisrael even entered into Egypt. The game is up, brothers and sisters. Everything that was hidden is now being revealed. The MashaYah is coming soon. He's going to destroy all of his and our enemies. We don't have to do anything. There's no reason for us to hate the Jewish people because they're not us. They don't even call themselves after the patriarch, Yisrael. They call themselves Israel. They're not Yahuda. They call themselves Jews. They have no MashaYah. They brought themselves over there. You cannot bring a sheaf or a sacrifice unto the priest because they're only one tribe. The tribe of Aharun is not present. They have no temple where the priests would be in order to make the sacrifices. What does that tell you? They are not supposed to be there. And what they're doing with the Palestinians is called the modern day apartheid. Just like in South Africa, they're doing it in the land. And remember, they've replaced the korbanot, the sacrifices and drawing near to the altar with prayer, goodwill towards men, and treating people fairly. Is that true? All you have to do is look at how they're treating the stranger that is in the land the Palestinians. Shalom.